Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to build a new Ghast Farm for Minecraft Bedrock. This thing is overall just pretty amazing. It looks great when it's running, it sounds amazing as well, and it's super efficient. It might look a little bit complicated, but once you get into it, it's actually surprisingly simple to build. It uses some really simple game mechanics, and overall it's just great in general. This Ghast Farm will produce about 1900 gunpowder per hour and about 1250 gas tiers per hour, which is way more than most other Ghast farms for Bedrock Edition. This farm also uses Trident killers to apply the looting 3 effect to every ghast that is killed in the farm, which really helps skyrocket the rates. Now let's be honest, you're not going to build this farm because you want gas tiers, you're going to build this farm because you want gunpowder, and creeper only farms on Bedrock Edition are just bad. Most creeper only farms on Bedrock can't even reach 1,000 drops per hour, so they started measuring in stacks instead. This farm gets nearly 1900 gunpowder per hour, and to put that into perspective, that is nearly 90 stacks of rockets per hour. Of course, this is a fully AFKable ghast farm, so it only takes a single player to use it. It doesn't use the overworld or anything like that, so just one player can AFK this farm overnight and get a few double chests of gunpowder, and you no longer need to worry about building any silly creeper only farms in your Bedrock Edition worlds. So I hope that you enjoy this tutorial, and let's get into it. So let's check out this farm in detail, shall we? Overall, it is actually a pretty simple little design once you see how it functions. So as you can see down here at the bottom, we have one main spawning platform, and this is lit up with torches. That way only ghasts will spawn. You won't get any skeletons or, pigmen or anything else in this farm. It's only ever going to be ghasts. Basically, every single ghast will immediately spawn already inside of a minecart because we got so many minecarts going around here, and any ones that don't spawn inside of a minecart will get picked up by a minecart within about a second or so. As you can see, we have some bars here across all of the minecart tracks, and that actually causes the ghast to suffocate on their way to the Trident killers. Now, they'll never die from the suffocation damage. They take 5 seconds to die from suffocation, and we don't have enough blocks in these rows to actually kill them. However, it does make them a one-hit kill in the Trident killers the majority of the time. If we didn't have any of these suffocation bars, then there would always be a 2-hit kill from the Trident killers. So this basically makes it so that every ghast that spawns within the farm is dead within about 5 seconds or so, which is really quick and comparable to most other designs. But of course, the difference with this design is that we're using Trident killers, so we get the looting 3 effect applied, which gives us 2.5 times as much items. You might have noticed it, but there's not a single hopper minecart within this entire farm. Underneath this platform, there is no form of item collection. All of our item collection is over here by the Trident killers, and there's only 8 hoppers in the entire farm for item collection. As you can see, all the ghasts that die will drop their gunpowder and gas tiers directly into this hopper here. Using this farm is really simple and straightforward. All you need to do is turn on the on switch, and then the farm will automatically activate and dispense all of the minecarts properly for you. Then you just go to the AFK spot, hold yourself a looting 3 sword, and that'll apply the looting 3 effect to every single ghast in the farm. If you would like to learn more about Trident killers, you can check out my video in the upper right. Build location of this farm is also pretty important as well. We are building this in a soul sand valley, so we'll only ever get ghasts and skeletons, but of course we have torches down there to prevent the skeleton spawns. Now, I picked an area that was a little bit too small, so I had to clear out some of the ledges around here to prevent things from spawning on those. But if you find yourself a nice large soul sand valley area above a lava lake, then you won't really need to do any perimeter work at all. This farm is made for any simulation distance, and all of the rates that I talk about in today's video are for a simulation distance of 4. If you're playing on a higher simulation distance, you'll need to do more spawn proofing around the area for better rates. If the ghast noises ever drive you completely insane, I would highly recommend just turning off your hostile creature sounds, and that will remove all of their annoying faces. And also, there's a off switch to this farm as well, so you really never need to touch any of the minecarts or redstone. Just flick that lever and that will turn off the entire farm, and then all of the hopper minecarts will go back into your dispensers there. So that is how you can fully turn off the farm. If your minecarts ever mess up, or if you unload the area so all the minecarts are like going in reverse or something, or bunched up in one area, all you need to do is turn off the farm, and that will completely automatically reset the minecarts. As you can see, there's not a single one out here. And then all we need to do is flick this lever to turn the farm back on. That will dispense all the minecarts spaced out perfectly, and that's really all there is to it. So those are the basics of the ghast farm and what you should expect from it in your world. Before we hop into the mechanics, I would like to say if you're enjoying the video so far, and if you'd like to support the video and the channel, then consider leaving a like or possibly subscribing so that you don't miss future tutorials. Also, maybe consider sharing this around maybe a little bit further than you normally would, because this is a lot of gunpowder, and it's seriously so much better than like most creeper farms. So if you know anyone that wants a bunch of gunpowder, show them this, because creeper farms that get like, you know, 5 stacks of gunpowder an hour are a little bit silly. So let's go over some general killing methods of ghast farms. Killing the ghast as quick as possible is the goal. There's only a mob cap of 2 ghasts on Bedrock Edition, so you'll only ever have 2 ghasts in the same area. That is why killing speed is so important. So if you see a ghast farm using cactuses, that's actually pretty good. Cactuses will kill a ghast within about 5 seconds, and because the ghasts are so big, you can have the ghast spawn in a really large area like this, and it'll still get killed by the cacti. Now, if you see any ghast farm on the planet using wither roses, that is just a bad farm. Flat out, these things take 18 seconds to kill a ghast. They're difficult to get, and in general, it's just really bad. So don't use a wither rose for like anything. Even when combining wither roses with other types of damage, it doesn't speed it up at all. So really just don't bother with them, and don't build any farms that use wither roses. Suffocation damage is actually a really good way of killing a ghast. That'll kill them within about 5.5 seconds, and overall it's just pretty solid. Automating this on a large scale is kind of difficult, but that is why we use a little bit of suffocation damage in my farm today. Now, you can also kill ghast using some arrows as well. So killing a ghast with arrows will kill them within about 2.5 seconds or so. Now, the best way of killing a ghast is going to be having them spawn directly inside of a Trident killer, as you can see with this kind of prototype. They die within about 2.5 seconds, and of course the looting 3 effect gets applied to all of them, and then you just run a hopper minecart down below the farm. The issue with this is that the ghasts move around the Tridents quite a bunch, so this is a very prototype design, and I have some ideas to improve this, so you might see this on the channel in the future. Overall, if you built a large version of this, it would get about 4,000 gunpowder per hour. So what happens when you can't have a ghast spawn directly inside of a Trident killer? Well, you take the ghast to the Trident killer, which is where this design comes in. So all the ghasts spawn in this thing, they basically are stuck here until they get picked up by a minecart, and then they get taken directly to a Trident killer and killed instantly by those things. And overall, I'm just quite happy with how this thing turned out. It's a very unique design. It looks pretty amazing when it's in use, and I just like it a ton. And let's hop into the tutorial, shall we? In case you are interested, there's going to be a full materials list for this build down in the description of the video for your convenience. And we're going to start off in a Soul Sand Valley biome. You're going to want to do some searching to find a good area above a lava lake. That way you have a natural perimeter. If you're on a simulation distance of 4, then you're going to want to find a lava lake slightly bigger than this one right here, without a whole bunch of ledges and overhangs near it. That way you have to do minimum prep work to the area around you. So if you find a lava lake with ledges, you'll either have to slab those or just mine them away entirely. You may also want to remove the little basalt pillars that you find around the area. Just mine them down so that it's just flowing lava. That way you don't have any gas spawn there as you are building. Once you have found a suitable lava lake, you want to go to the center of the lava lake and build yourself a little 2x2 platform made out of marker blocks. This is going to be the very center of your main spawning platform. And now we want to expand this to each side by 17 blocks. So make a little bridge going out 17 blocks in every direction, and then we're going to connect all that stuff together. You can get away with building these bridges and the rest of the platform out of upper slabs if you like, or you can use full blocks. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you do not build out of something flammable. We are literally directly above a lava lake, so use something like stone or cobblestone slabs. And this is what the platform should look like once you have it filled in. It should be 36 blocks wide and 36 blocks long as well. Don't worry about all these mob spawning. You won't have mob spawning as long as you're standing on the platform. But yeah, if you go above the platform, then things will start spawning on it. Now you want to double check that the entirety of the platform is inside of a soul sand valley biome. This is actually really easy to do. You want to look at the particles of where you're standing. As you can see, we have these little tiny like black ash particles, and that means that you are in a soul sand valley. If you go to every corner of your farm and all you see is these little black particles, then you are good to go and you can continue building the farm. If you start seeing these red particles or blue particles on a section of the platform, that means it's not actually a soul sand valley biome, and you may want to consider finding another spot to build this farm. Let's get rid of these spooky, scary skeletons, shall we? Go to any corner of the farm and place down one torch, and this is going to be the start of our grid of torches across the entire build, which will get rid of all of these skeletons. Now, you want to place torches on every 5th block, so that is a 4-block gap between all of the torches, and of course, do this going in both directions as well. If you go ahead and fill in 2 edges, that makes filling in all of these centers really easy, because all you need to do is line up yourself with the torches that you already placed earlier. All the torches are now installed, and if you did it correctly, then all 4 corners of the build should have a torch directly on the corner, and now only ghasts are going to spawn on this platform. So what we want to do now is put a little border wall going all the way around the edges. This is going to prevent the ghasts from actually falling outside of the farm and escaping it, basically. You want to build this border wall at the head height, and you want to build this out of glass blocks. That way it doesn't prevent any ghasts from spawning in it. So the ghasts will still be able to spawn right here, but they won't be able to like fall to the side and then fall into the lava lake below. And now we need to figure out what direction we are facing, so place down a piece of dirt and place a sunflower on top of that dirt. Sunflowers will always face east no matter what dimension they are placed in, so that right there is now east. If we turn to our left, that is going to be north, and we're going to start building in the northwest corner, which is that one right there. Thank you, sunflower. Goodbye. We're now going to place an entire line of glass starting from the northwest corner, going all the way to the opposite end of the farm, just like so, and this is going to extend 1 block over the edge of the barrier that we placed in earlier. We're then going to make a little bit of a U-turn and go back to the beginning of the farm and basically extend that all the way to the top side. We want there to be a 4-block gap between these 2 little railways. That way any gas that spawns in here will automatically get picked up by a minecart. So go ahead and extend this all the way to the top side of the farm. Starting at the north end of the build, we're going to start by installing the minecart dispensing system. So you want to place a dispenser facing upwards right here, 1 block over the edge from where your little barrier is. We're now going to place 2 hoppers going into the side of that, hopper downwards, and a hopper right there. Place in a piece of sand right there, and then a temporary block, and surround that on all sides with some glass blocks like so. And then you want some more blocks in those areas. Small note right here, you do not want glass blocks in these 2 locations. If you place any blocks in these locations right here, that will cause the gas to escape instead of going into your Trident killers. So do not include blocks right here. Place in yourself a cactus right there. So you want a upper half slab in this spot right here with a comparator on it. That comparator is going to be facing into a solid block, and then you want another upper slab right there and a solid block right there. Place a piece of redstone on top of that slab, and that is going to automatically refire all the minecarts. You now want to place another solid block right there, a lever on the side of that block to power your rails, and then you want 2 slabs there and there to prevent mob spawning. We're now going to flip around to this side right here and place 2 pieces of rail right here on top of those hoppers, and that should be lined up with the center of your 4 wide gap. Go ahead and place 2 more pieces of glass right here with 2 pieces of normal rail, and then a lever on that glass block there to power those activator rails. And now to install the rail lines, we're going to start by placing in 4 powered rail right here at the beginning, and then start by placing in 6 additional rails, and then 2 powered rails, 6 more normal rails right here, 2 more powered rails, 6 more normal rails, and then another 2 powered rails, and finally another 6 normal rails, and end off with 4 powered rails going into this corner like so. Going around the corner, we're going to have 3 normal rails, and then 2 activator rails right here lined up in the middle, 3 more normal rails, and then basically repeat that pattern going back to the beginning. So we got 4 powered rails, 6 normals, and then 2 powered, and 6 normals, etc, etc. To power each one of these rails, what you want to do is place a glass block and then just a lever off of the side of that. You have to power it in this way, otherwise you could be preventing ghast from spawning in your farm. As you can see, we already got one right here. He's so cute and adorable. Look at that face. He's so cute. And now we're going to place in our suffocation bar. So start at this block right here, which is directly above the corner of your platform, and we're going to count in by 5 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to go on to the 6th block and then pillar up by 3. You want to have your bar of blocks right here up on that 3rd block to suffocate the ghast. If it's any lower, they won't actually suffocate, so make sure it's exactly at this layer, and we're going to extend this going all the way down to the very end of this little section over here until it's directly above that corner. We're going to do the same thing on this side, so go in by 6 blocks basically, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the 6th block, pillar up by 3, and continue your bar going back to the beginning. Your bar should end directly above the end of the farm, so right here above that powered rail. And of course, go ahead and put slabs above every single one of those blocks in order to prevent spawns on top of those. Okay then, so that is one section of your rail line loop done. You need to build 4 of these in total. So you want to build the next one 4 blocks over. So go ahead and place down your 4 counter blocks, and then your next beginning railway would be going down in this direction. It would loop around in that U-turn shape, basically right above these torches here. And then it basically build this exact same section 4 times over, going all the way across the farm. If you do it correctly, your final rail line should be directly above this line of torches right here. And this is what it should look like when all of your rail lines are installed. Each one of these is identical, they're all lined up perfectly, and they all function the exact same as well. We're now going to head to the southern side and start installing our Trident killers and item collection over here. So the first thing that you want to do is place in yourself a glass block right next to that activator rail. It has to be on the first activator rail, that way when the ghast gets kicked out of this minecart, it goes into the next minecart of your Trident killer. So we're going to place in a temporary block right there, surround that with blocks on all sides, and then place a hopper below that facing downwards as well. Remove that block and place in a normal rail, flip around to the side and place in a lever right there to power those activator rails, and now we're going to put in a couple of blocks right here just for the Trident killer. Your piston is going to be facing directly forward like so, and that is the basis of your Trident killer done. Go ahead and place in 1 minecart right there, and then we're actually going to install a second minecart as well by placing a rail above it, minecart there, and then just breaking that block. That'll fall directly down into there, and this allows the Trident killer to hold 2 ghast at a time. You can have 2 ghast spawn right next to each other, and then both of those go into the same Trident killer. If you don't have 2 minecarts, one of your ghast would escape in that situation. Now we need to install Trident killers on the north side as well. These ones are going to be a little bit higher up just due to how the minecarts dismount the ghast. So we're going to go ahead and go to the north of that lever by 2 blocks. Real quick note, there needs to be a 1 block gap between this hopper and this lever right here. As you can see, just 1 block. And then have our temporary block up into the diagonal like that. Place your hopper facing downwards right there, and then simply go ahead and surround that iron block or temporary block with some glass. Put your rail on top of the hopper, put your minecart in there, get your secondary minecart in there, and then install your piston right here as well. This piston, of course, needs to be facing forwards into that glass block. So you need to install 4 of these in total for each one of your rail lines, and they need to be lined up with the left activator there as well. So you need another one right here, and then, of course, all the way down the line. Now we're going to start installing the basics of the redstone lines before we get to the complicated brain of the farm. So go to this piston right here and install a couple of slabs to the left of it, and then extend the slab line all the way to the next piston over here. You want a solid block on the end, 2 slabs right there, and then just cover absolutely all of this in some redstone dust. Remove that slab, and then do the exact same thing on this side over here. And now for the basics of the lower redstone line, you want to go to the second minecart loading system from the left side when you are facing south, if that makes any sense. Anyway, we're going to go to this one right here and install a solid block directly in front of this block here. Place a lever on that and then flick it. And then we want to extend a slab line all the way to the left and connect that up with a redstone line like so. Extend the slab line going all the way to the far side of the farm to that piece of redstone, and then place redstone dust above each one of those slabs as well. So the redstone power dies right here on this block, and we're going to place a solid block there and right here actually, and then we're going to place a repeater right between those two, put some slabs above both of those, and then remove the slabs underneath of both of those solid blocks. Switching to the southern side of the farm now, we're going to install the basics of the redstone line for these 4 Trident killers over here. It's basically going to be the exact same as the wiring for the northern Trident killers, so go ahead and place 3 slabs to either side of this piston right here. Extend the slab line all the way to this piston, solid block, slabs above that, and then redstone dust above absolutely everything like so. Remove that slab, and then do the exact same process on this side right here. And now it's time to build the brains of this ghast farm and all of the logic circuits that actually dispense the minecarts and allow the minecarts to go back into the dispensers. Basically, a big, complicated on and off switch for the farm. It's not actually that complicated, but it's a bunch of spaghetti redstone. So the first thing that we're going to do is place a block right there and then a observer facing away from the farm with the butt end going into that piece of redstone dust right there. You're then going to want a bridge of blocks, basically extending out to here. That way you have something to place on. And honestly, you should probably just place a little platform down here in general. That way you don't fall directly into lava. So now we're going to go ahead and place ourselves in a solid block right here with redstone dust on it. Skip a block and have another solid block right there with redstone dust on that as well. You want a redstone torch off the back side of that and to the side of that one like so. Place a solid block above that one, and then this right here is actually going to be the on and off switch for your entire farm. We're going to place in ourselves a solid block right there, and then get yourself in a couple of slabs going across the build. You can break out that middle one and place in a solid block right here. You then want a repeater coming out of that redstone torch right there, going into a piece of redstone dust. You want a solid block up into the left of that right there, and then a redstone torch on the back side of that block. Jump and place a repeater right here. You then want a solid block above that torch and a solid block above that piece of redstone dust right there as well. Moving to the left side of the circuitry, you want a temporary block right there, and then replace that block with a slab, and you want 4 slabs in this kind of Tetris piece shape right there, like so. Place in a solid block on that corner right there, and then you want redstone dust, and redstone dust. A repeater right there on 4 ticks going into a solid block with a redstone torch on the side of it, and then a repeater right there on 2 ticks like so. That should currently clock, but if we flick that lever, then of course that will turn off. We're going to go ahead and place in 2 droppers now. One is going to be facing to the right off of the side of that block like so, and the other one is going to be facing to the left off of that block right there. So those 2 guys should be facing into each other. If we put an item into that thing and then allow our redstone clock to fire, that should move the item from this dropper into the other one, as you can see there. We're now going to place in a couple of slabs into this area, 2 comparators reading from both of those droppers going into solid blocks, and then a redstone torch right there above that block like so. Connecting this up to the rest of the farm is where it starts to get a little bit spaghetti-fied, so go ahead and place a solid block right there, and then another solid block to the side of that as well. Redstone dust there and there, glass block above that, redstone dust there, and then you want a solid block there with a redstone torch on the backside of it, repeater on 1 tick, and then 2 solid blocks in those locations. Go ahead and put slabs above those things as well, and then you just need yourself another slab right here for the redstone to go upwards, and that is going to power your northern Trident killers. And now we're going to connect the lower redstone line for all of your minecarts. So go ahead and get yourself another upper slab right here with a piece of redstone dust. Remove that lever right there and replace that with another redstone dust as well. Now is a good time to go ahead and spawn proof all of your redstone. So you need a slab above your observer, some slabs right there, slabs in those areas, a slab on that block, and a slab right there as well. The final redstone line that we need is going to go underneath the farm and connect up to the southern Trident killers. So that means that we need ourselves a redstone torch off of this block right here, and then we're going to need to go downwards. So if you have one of these little sections still laying around, make yourself a nice temporary little bridge down here at the lava layer. We're then going to go ahead and go downwards by a couple of blocks from that redstone torch, remove that block right there and replace that with a redstone dust. We're then going to go ahead and unflick that lever. That's going to activate your upper Trident killers, and that's fine. We just need this guy to power this redstone for the time being. You want to go downwards by 3 steps with solid blocks, and then create yourself a bridge of upper slabs going across to the other side. So basically extend these upper slabs going all the way to the other side, and this upper slab bridge is going to end right when you meet your barrier of glass, so 1 block beyond the spawning platform. All of this is going to have redstone dust directly above it as well. Once you extend that redstone line over to the redstone torch over here, we can then tell where the redstone signal dies and install some repeating sections with our 2 solid blocks, a repeater, and then of course our slabs to prevent spawning. You're going to need 2 repeating sections on this one because it's such a long redstone line, so go ahead and install both of those like so. Once you get to the ending over here, we need to create a staircase going upwards, so install some solid blocks going upwards like this. You need 5 solid blocks going upwards into the diagonal, and technically these lower 4 can actually be upper slabs if you feel like doing that, but of course it's not entirely necessary, it just saves some materials. So now we want to have ourselves a redstone torch on this very top block, connect the redstone down to that redstone line, and that should unpower that torch. We're going to have a solid block above that torch, and then an upper slab to the south side of that, redstone dust right there, solid block above it, and then your redstone torch there, your repeater there, and finally your next solid block. That should create your clock, and that should already be powering your left side. Now we just need to put a couple slabs there, couple more pieces of redstone dust, and that should power all of your Trident killers. And now it's time for the last minute details of the farm. If you want an on and off indicator for your farm, you can place a redstone lamp next to either of these 2 redstone torches to the sides of it, and that'll tell you when your farm is off. When the light is off, the farm isn't on. So make sure that the farm is off right now. We're gonna go ahead and put 9 shovels into this right dropper right here. Just 9 stone shovels or any 9 non-stackable items will do. Whatever you want to use that's non-stackable will work just fine. Stone shovels is just very, very cheap. So you want that to be into the right dropper that is got the comparator running out of it into that redstone torch, and that should turn off that torch right there. Whenever you flick that lever to turn on the farm, that is going to move items from this dropper right here into that one, which is going to pulse your redstone line 9 times and dispense all the minecarts onto the railways. Speaking of that, you want to fill up all 4 of your dispensers with 9 minecarts each. So that dispenser, this one right here, and of course the other 2 as well. But now we need to install the tridents into the Trident killers. So go around to all of the Trident killers in the farm and throw 1 trident onto each of them. These don't need to have any enchantments, they can be any durability, they will never break, despawn, or otherwise vanish, and they'll be tied to the player that throws them. Again, for more information, watch my Trident killer video, linked in the iCards and the description down below. The farm is now completely done, but there is a couple very last minute things that you need to do. You need to move your AFK spot and create your AFK spot. So your AFK spot is going to be directly above the center 2x2 that we marked out at the very beginning, and this is going to be at Y76 for all simulation distances. Basically, you want to stand between these 4 blocks right here. I would suggest that you build a big old glass box around this so that you are completely encased when you're AFK. That way none of the gas can ever see you, or otherwise try and target you or fire at you, which could cause some damage to your farm. Now, I would also suggest that you make a walkway going over to here, and then some sort of ladder or scaffolding going down. That way you can easily access the you know, on and off switch of the farm without like flying back and forth and subjecting yourself to ghast fireballs. It's also a very good idea to set up some form of walkway above this redstone line or something. That way you can easily access all of the hoppers and get all the items out of them, or you can just extend that into like one big hopper line that feeds all 4 of these into one chest, or really whatever you guys want to do. Storage is always very subjective and you guys can do whatever you want. And now for the moment of truth, we get to turn on the farm for the first time, so flick the lever and that should dispense all 9 of your minecarts for all 4 of your sections, and they should go out in perfect sync. We're gonna go up to the AFK spot and hold our looting 3 sword. That way the looting effect gets applied to every single ghast that dies, and then profit basically. This farm is gonna run forever until you turn it off or otherwise unload the area, and if you do unload the area, the minecarts are gonna get messed up, so really make sure to turn it off before you leave the area. Otherwise, as long as you have enough storage for all of your gunpowder and ghast tiers, you can stand here for as long as you like. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this brand new ghast farm, then of course let me know in the comment section down below. I'm always trying to help you guys out as best as I possibly can, but otherwise I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please do leave a like on the video. It really does help out the video and the channel an absolute ton. If you're new here, then of course consider subscribing so that you don't miss future tutorials like this one on the channel. I got a lot more good stuff planned for the coming weeks, of course, and naturally try and share this video around with as many people as you can, because this is a lot of gunpowder, and again, it is so much better than a lot of creeper farms. So hopefully as many people get to enjoy this as possible. Otherwise, I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. Thank you so very much for watching, and then there was silence.